Okay, in today's video, I'm going to be challenging myself to only paint with 3 colors. And I've kind of separated these swatches. First of all, I went ahead and I painted a little swatch for every single color on my palette. And I numbered them 1 through 40, just so I remember where on the palette they are, just in case I get colors mixed up, because I do that. I've also set some aside over here because it turns out I have a lot of colors that look almost identical, and this is a good exercise. Just letting me know that I need to update my palette and take out some colors that I thought that I needed that really I don't. And anyway, this is also a really good challenge if you are worried about, well, not necessarily worried, but if you're tending to choose the same colors over and over and over and over, like I am, this is going to be a great challenge to get me out of the box. And I already, like when I was making these swatches, I kept thinking, ooh, I hope I get this color. And that's just like not the point of this challenge. I just want to take what I pick and then we're going to paint from there. So to start out, I've just grabbed this little bag and I'm going to put all the swatches in here. And then the ones that look almost identical, I'm only going to choose one because since I'm only using 3 colors, if I accidentally picked 2 of the same, that would kind of be really boring. So it would end up being like a 2-color challenge. So I'm just going to choose my favorite between the 2 and then, let's see. And then set the other aside. Now this one, I know it doesn't have a perfect match, but the reason why I'm not including it is because I went to refill it and I totally refilled it with the wrong color and I didn't have time to fix that. So, okay, here we go. I'm gonna draw 3 colors and I'm not looking, I promise. So the first color is quinacridone gold. The next color is, oh, ivory black. Darn it. And the last color is brilliant orange. Okay, so that is what we are going to use for the challenge today. And this is going to be really tricky because orange, yellow, and black, very Halloween. But we're painting roses, so it's going to be interesting. All right, I'm going to keep these colors up here just so I remember what I'm using. And I might get a little bit of a mixture of something else just because I didn't clean off my palette completely. So if that bothers you, I'm sorry. This challenge is just for fun, not to have like a true challenge. So this is the brilliant orange down here. I'm going to scoot up my palette so you can really see what colors I'm working with. And that's as far as I can scoot. So we've got the brilliant orange down here. I've got quinacridone gold is, turn it right here. It's kind of this brown looking color, but I promise it's really nice. You can see the swatch. And then black. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm using a size 12 round brush. And then I also grabbed a size 6 round brush for smaller details a little bit later. This is going to be so interesting because, again, I never, ever reach for these colors just by themselves. And so this is going to be a really interesting challenge. And if you want to kind of play along, do the same thing, kind of paint out some swatches and then see what you can come up with. But just because these are full strength doesn't mean I can't water them down, tone it down a little bit. Uh-oh. I got a purple color in there. Must have happened when I was painting swatches. I don't want that in there, but Okay, I'm really watering this down. So quinacridone gold is kind of a special color because it almost has, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a, I don't know what kind of paint to even call it because it's almost like a nail polish, if that makes sense. Like the way that it sits on top of the paper, it's almost like a stain or like something like that. It's really very pretty. I also want to know, and you can leave me a comment down below, what kind of holiday things you would love to learn how to paint or paint with me, or if you've been having some ideas about what you want to see in the future, please let me know. Okay, so I've kind of got this orange and quinacridone yellow thing happening here. I am so scared about the black. I should have taken that out. I thought about it. I was like, I know it. I'm going to draw black and that's just going to be terrible, but it's fine. It'll be fine. So I'm mixing kind of a brownish color. This is so funny. We'll come back to that color in a second. I'm going to water this down quite a bit. Now, I've done this before, but I used 5 colors, and I felt like it wasn't that big of a challenge because with 5 colors, I kind of just got to, I still had a green, I still had yellow, purple, so it wasn't much of a challenge. It was fun, but it didn't push me. Where this is definitely pushing me. And I am using this is an 8x8 pad of Arches cold press paper. Okay, back to that black. I'm going to add it in and make kind of a burnt brownish color. I think this will work. We'll see. You never really know, right? You just kind of have to go with the flow and see what happens. Okay, that's still a little too wet, so I'm not going to touch that yet. I'm going to come back to it in a minute. So with this kind of brownish color, I kind of want to do some leaves with this and add some depth to these flowers with it. And then I think the black would look really cool as kind of a foliage color, and maybe not everything, but maybe some stems, maybe some little sprigs or something like that would look really cool. So with this brownish color, I'm thinking almost like, and I know rose hips aren't generally this color, but they're a little more red than brown, but that's kind of the inspiration for this right here. And I don't want them to look too perfect and organized, so that's why I'm adding quite a few. And then when I go back and kind of finesse it, it won't look quite so crazy, just like this blob of stuff over here. And I don't want to go too dark because I don't want that high of a contrast happening, if that makes any sense. Well, that's still very wet. So I'm trying to kind of offset what's happening down here with some more textured, smaller flowers up here. And those need to dry all the way. They're kind of little puddles of paint right now, which is fine. And I think that's dry enough that I can go back in. This brilliant orange is a tricky color because just the tiniest dot of color gives you a lot of color. So I've got to be careful with going back in and adding more color. It's kind of fun to see what kind of a range you can get just with a few colors. Even though these are definitely not the colors I would reach for, it is kind of fun to see what you can do. So my palette is, Silver Nano, I think is the name of it, and it's by Magello. I love this palette. It is plastic, and if you are having problems with the paint kind of beading up, there are a couple things you can do. One is just let it be and keep using it, and the more you use it, the less it will kind of bead up. And then the other thing you can do is gently scrub it with just baking soda and water, and that'll kind of take off the finish a little bit and help the paint so it doesn't kind of ball up or bead up. But I've been using this palette for a very long time and I never rinse it off, as you can see. And this is looking really funny just because of how the light overhead is hitting it, but I hope that helps if you're having problems with that. I love this palette. I love the brand Magello. The other palette that I love, I'll link it down below because I swear pregnancy brain is a thing and postpartum brain is a thing because my baby is 8 months old and I forget things all the time that I used to know like hand, and I'm like, what? So I will put it in the description for this video. So you can see I'm kind of mixing a darker kind of black over here. Okay, I'm actually going to stop to my size 6. And my brush was dry, so it kind of soaked up all of that, which is fine. And I'm just going to go in and start to add in some little details. I have to remix that color. My brush just soaked it all up. I decided not to pull from the palette because it would pull way too much orange. And so I'm just going to grab from where I've already mixed. Okay. And these are already wet, so I know that they're going to bleed into the stems that I'm painting, and I am totally fine with that. I kind of love when that happens. But if you don't like when that happens, it's totally fine. Personal preference. Oh dear. The Roomba just turned on. Oh dear. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn that off. Okay. I am so sorry about that. Okay, so you can see I've kind of added some stems in here. And I always say whenever I'm building a composition to do what makes, like, what's the easiest decision first. So I'm not even thinking about where I'm placing my leaves yet because I have no idea where I'm placing leaves yet. I'm not even going to think about it yet until I have to. And I talk about that for my composition course. I help a lot with troubleshooting and just knowing how to add in flowers, and what steps to take. Okay, so now that I've got these kind of in place, I like where this is headed. I am going to add in some more yellow because I feel like it's very brown and orange heavy. So I'm going back to my quinacridone gold. And I'm going to add some leaves with this color. And then maybe up here, they're more of the brown, just to offset that kind of goldish rose that's happening. Decided I wanted this one to be a little bit bigger. And I'm not worrying so much about you know, defining the leaf right now because I'm going to go back in and add in some more details later. Okay, things are getting somewhere. It's kind of exciting when that happens, when you don't really have a plan and then it just comes together. So nice. Okay. We'll do one more little guy right here. Okay, I think that feels pretty good. So I'm going to go back over here. It ended up being kind of nice fall floral painting. Not so Halloween-y like we kind of thought at the beginning, which is good. Didn't want Halloween roses. Although that would have been fun too, but I just wanted to take a more elegant direction. Okay, now this I know kind of looks like a blob right now, but I'm going to go in and just a couple little details. And hopefully it'll turn into a flower and not just a little blob. And if you missed my video last week, I kind of talked about how to fix when your flowers turn into blobs. And this is one of those things. You wait for it to dry and then you add more details over the top. So now it kind of looks more like a flower. I might wait till this dries too and then go in, add a little bit of depth. But for now, this is okay. All right, waiting for these leaves to dry so that I can go in and add some details. Hi, honey. Nope. I'll come get you when I'm all done, okay?
No, Mom. My tablet is out of battery.
I'll plug it in.
So, Mommy, all of this.
I have a child who is normally at school, but he is home with a cold today. And I told him to go on his tablet, but it is out of batteries. Ah, not quite there yet. That's okay. Just leave it be for a minute.
Oh, my arts are pretty cool.
Your art is really cool. You see what colors I'm using?
I'm using the same color as I was using. Mom, you used red and I used red on my pumpkin one.
Mm-hmm.
On my pumpkin. Look, it had some blackberries too. It had some black flowers too, Mom. It has some black flowers too. Why? I need to be quiet.
Still waiting on this to dry.
Mom. Mom.
What, honey?
I really am going still.
Okay, just a minute. We'll make some lunch.
I want to eat orange at Grandma's or this house.
Normally he's not here. I apologize. He's very distracting. Okay. I hate waiting for layers to dry. It's my least favorite part. So I'm just kind of painting around this wet part here so that I can kind of move on.
Mom.
Same with right here.
I need to go in the basement for a second.
Okay. It's still very wet. So being really careful not to touch that black center because I don't want it to bleed over into my petals. Okay. And I think that's pretty dry. I guess we'll find out. Still a little bit wet right here, but that's okay. I don't want to sit here and wait forever for something to dry. So once it's actually the video's over, we'll finish this and then I can post a picture in the Facebook group. So I really hope that you take me on this challenge, and I'm excited to try this again and hopefully draw some colors that I might have picked. But even then, like, I like how this turned out, even though I was really nervous about the colors that I got. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. I will see you guys next week. Thanks again for watching.